you're not much exposed. Not much exposed to the concept of Tantra Yukti in your undergraduate education. So what we will be doing here is learning it in the basic and in its native true form, so that we can talk about the applied aspects later, probably at the end or the later half of this course or lecture series. So at the outset, I congratulate and thank this organization led by Dr. Rajiv Lochan, and another person is there whom I asked the name, but anyway, thank you for inviting me. It all gives a feeling of happiness because there is a desire to know, desire to learn, desire to understand the Ayurveda. So desire is what we call it as jidnyasa in our technical term. Jidnyasa means this curiosity, jidnyasa means this inquisitiveness, this jidnyasa of knowing more. This jidnyasa of knowing more will make us more accomplished. So jidnyasa of knowing more is what has been the occasion which has been given to us. And you know, in the words of Charaka Samhita, Kritsno hi loko buddhimatam acharyaha shatruscha buddhimatam. For the intelligent one, the whole world is a teacher. So wherever be the teacher, whoever be the teacher, it's only a matter related to the learning. So we may not be directly connected here. We are connected through some sort of interaction, some sort of dialogue on the topic Tantra Yukti. So with those two insightful words, I congratulate the organizers. Particularly organizing something is not that easy. So I congratulate them and start the discourse on Tantra Yukti Vichara. Now I hear that Tantra Yukti is a part of your curriculum also, but not dealt in detail as was told by some of you. So let's try to understand what is Tantra Yukti. So Tantra Yuktis basically are the keys which will help us understand the Samhitas. These are the technical words. Understanding them, we can have a better knowledge about Ayurveda Samhitas. So this Tantra Yukti word is basically composed of two words. One is Tantra and the other one is Yukti. And what is Tantra? The Tantra definition is on screen. Trayate Shariram Anena iti Tantram. So the one which protects the Sharira is known as Tantra. The one which is containing the information that is going to protect the Deha, Sharira is known as Tantra, and that itself is Shastra, that itself is Chikitsa Shastra. Since we are learning with Ayurveda, which is the form of Chikitsa Shastra, Tantra here refers to nothing other than the Ayurveda or the Ayurveda Samhitas. The second definition coming from the Aruna Datta says, Tantrate Dharyate Shariram Anena iti Tantram. So by which the Deha Dharana or the Sharira Dharana takes place is known as Tantra. So what is Dharana? Dharana means supporting the Sharira. So here is one science which is from the beginning of our life to the end of life. So this Ayurveda Shastra is there for the whole of this lifespan, from the beginning to the end. It supports, it does the dharana of the Sharira, and therefore the Tantratya Dharyate Shariram Anena iti Tantra means again the Ayurveda Tantra or Ayurveda Shastra. So the Tantra basically means the Ayurveda here. Ayurveda, and Ayurveda is basically available to us in two forms. The two forms are either it is available in the verbal form, your teacher will come and tell what it is, or the other form of Ayurveda that is available to us is in the form of our own Samhitas. Our own Ayurveda Samhitas is the written form of Ayurveda. Next slide, please. So when we talk about the Tantra as Samhitas, so what it means? It means The word tantra is said to be originated from the dhatu tan. The tan means which has got the capacity to elaborate. So there is one word, I can talk 10 sentences on that. So that is what is elaboration. And it can extend, it can stretch, it can compose to protect or regulate. Tantra, tan means capacity to elaborate, capacity to elaborate, capacity to explain. So that is the meaning of the term tantra. Now, in the Samhitas itself, the tantra has been given with some synonyms. The synonyms as available in 30th chapter of Charaka Samhita are the Shakha, Sutra, Vidya, Jnana, Shastra, Lakshana and Ayurveda. So by this implication, tantra means Ayurveda. So that is the meaning of the first word in the Tantra Yukti word, that is tantra. So now we go to the second slide, that is Yukti. And Yukti is a word, I suppose you have heard it many times. So Yukti word has been heard many times, particularly in two contexts in Charaka Samhita you would have heard Yukti. The two contexts are, the first one is the Yukti as Paradi Guna. If you remember, Charaka says 41 gunas. Among the 41 gunas, Paradi Guna is also one of the important gunas. Slide is not visible for me. Can you do something? Hello, who is sharing the slides?
Sir, please pin that slide. Sir, is it visible?
No, it's not visible for me.
Participants, is it visible for you?
I am seeing only myself.
Yes, it is visible.
Sir, please pin NAMS Nepal in the screen.
The slide is NAMS Nepal. How many? There are two.
The one with slide, sir.
ये दोनों पर नहीं आ रहा यार.
Maybe upper one.
Yeah. I got it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, sir. Continue, sir.
Okay. So before this, इसका previous slide दिखाना है आपको. Okay, युक्ति हम बात कर रहे थे. युक्ति क्या होता है? What is युक्ति? Yukti word is originated from the word yuj dhatu. Yuj means to combine, to unite. So to combine, the meaning of the word yukti. As I said, in our Ayurveda Samhitas, we come across with two definitions for yukti. One in the context of Paradiguna, it is defined as yuktisya yojana yapayujyate. Yukti means yojana. Yojana means planning. As you have planned this lecture. How did you do it? You contacted me, then we had a discussion. We arranged that we thought that we'll have a discussion on Tantra Yukti. That's how it got executed. So Yukti means basically planning. So planning is the meaning of the Yukti, Yuktischa Yojana Yati Yujyate. And the second meaning of the term Yukti is, you may be aware, we have learnt various pramanas or pariksha sadhana in our samhitas. So Yukti is one among the pramana. If you remember, Chaturveda Pariksha are there. Dvidhameva khalu sarvam satcha satcha tasya Chaturveda Pariksha aptopadesha pratyaksha anumana yuktischeti. So Yukti means a tool to examine the truth or falsehood of anything, and where which is an advanced version of examination. When multiple factors are there, we apply our logic and come to a sort of conclusion, and that we call as yukti. In that also, what we do is planning. So basically, yukti means yojana. Yojana means planning. So if you look into the Sanskrit English translation, those are other terminologies by which the word yukti is found mentioned. So this is the meaning of the yukti. Now, if we have understood the tantra in its real meaning, yukti in its real meaning, now what we do is we try to understand tantra yukti. So I want you to show the next slide. The next slide says, Trayate shariram anenaiti tantram shastram chikitsa, which we have already learned. Tasya yuktayoho yojanaha tantra yuktaya. Now, Trayate shariram anenaiti tantram. So this is the shastra which is going to protect us is known as tantra, which we call it as Ayurveda. And this Ayurveda is also learnt as in the written word known as Samhitas. So, Tasya yuktayoho yojanaha, learning, the planning to learn the Samhitas is Tantra Yukti. So, Tantra Yukti is the various plans that we employ, various technical modalities that we employ, that we follow to try to learn the Samhitas in their true nature, in their real sense. So that is what is the meaning of Tantra Yukti. So by which what we generally say is Tantra Yuktis are keys, just like the keys which will help us understand the particular shloka in its real sense. So this is what is the meaning of the term Tantra Yukti. So second definition coming from the Arunadatta. Arunadatta is a commentator on Ashtanga Hridaya Samhita. So tantrate dharyate shariram anena iti tantram tasya gunaha tantra gunaha. So tantra means this Samhita itself, the Ayurveda itself, tasya gunaha tantra gunaha. How the Samhitas are to be written, it follows its own gunas. In the words of Charaka Samhita, these are known as Shastra Lakshana, which you might have heard something called as Sumahad Yashasvi Dhira Purusha Sevitam, etc. So Tantra Guna are the good qualities of Tantra, how the Tantra should be written, how a Samhita should be written. Now, Yais Tantram Alankriyate Tantra Yuktadayaha Tairevam Prakarayed Yuktam. So, there are other technical terms also that are employed in Tantra Yukti, employed in learning Samhitas, and we call them as Tantra Yukti. We call them Tantra Yukti. So there are Tantra Yuktis which we have to understand, and use them when a particular shloka comes in front of you to get the correct meaning. So that's what is the meaning of the term Tantra Yukti. Now, if we look into all this, what are we trying to learn? We are trying to learn through Tantra Yukti how to learn the Ayurveda Samhitas. Now, there are quite a few methods in which the Ayurveda Samhitas are learned. Probably in Charaka Samhita itself, you may be aware there are three tools. Adhyayana, Adhyapana, and Tadvidya Sambhasha are the Trividha Jnanopaya. One should do Adhyayana, one should study them, and one should do Adhyapana. Once I study, I have to tell it to someone else so that what I learned is correct or not. And what he has learned is also known to us. So that is Adhyayana, Adhyapana. And the third most important thing is Tadvidya Sambhasha. We with this to enlighten ourselves. Then you may be aware that there are terms like Padataha, Pada, Pada, etc. So we have to learn Samhita by each word. We have to learn Samhita by each Pada. So we have to learn Samhita by different modalities are there. So Tantra Yukti provides one more modality of learning the Samhitas. And remember, all of these modalities have got their own advantages, and Tantra Yukti therefore has got its own advantages. So Tantra Yukti therefore are the keys just like a key, chavi. So which will open a door of the Samhitas, which will open the door of a particular shloka. So likewise, the Tantra Yuktis are beneficial. So we go to the next slide. Now, why should we learn Tantra Yuktis? Why should we learn Tantra Yuktis? This is a question asked in Samhita itself. If you look into the Sushruta Uttara Tantra, the question answered in Samhita itself, they say, Atrasam Tantra Yuktim Nam Kim Prayojanam. So what are the prayojana of Tantra Yukti? Why should we learn the Tantra Yuktis? Uchyate Vakya Yojanam Artha Yojanam cha. So what it means is, it means there are two purposes why we should learn Tantra Yukti. One is Vakya Yojana and the other one is Artha Yojana. Yojana means Yojana is to plan. So what planning required in case of Vakya Yojana? Vakya Yojana Vakyasya Asambandhasya Yojanam Sambandhanam Vakya Yojanam. Take a shloka. Take a shloka. For example, I take a simple shloka. Sharira Janam Doshanam Kramena Paramoshadam Bastir Vireko Vamanam Taila Ghritam Madhu. So you know this shloka. Right? This shloka is known to you. And you have translated this also. The best remedy for the Vatadi dosha is Basti, Vamana, Virechana for the respective dosha. For Vata it is Basti, for Pitta it is Virechana, for Kapha it is Vamana. And some Shamana Dravyas are also mentioned as Taila, Ghrita, Madhu, respectively for the doshas. How did we get it? How did we get the meaning? So to get the meaning, we arrange the shlokas, we arrange the word in the shlokas in a proper format. And that arrangement is known as Vakya Yojana. So when we talk about arranging, we arrange the words to get the meaning. To quote another example, Sharira Cheshtha Ya Cheshtha Stharyartha Balavardhanam. I'm talking about the definition of Vyayama in Charaka Samhita. So Sharira Cheshtha Ya Cheshtha Stharyartha Balavardhanam. All the activities. So see, there are in this word itself, there are two Cheshtha words coming. What is Cheshtha? So it is an arrangement. Vakya Yojana has to be done here. Sharira Cheshtha, that is the physical activity, to be done by Cha Ishtha. Cha plus Ishtha. Ishtha means desirous. So second Cheshta has to be broken and arranged. So what has happened? The planning has happened here. It is the Vakya Yojana that has happened. So which means, so Sharira Cheshta, Ya Cheshta, Stharyartha Balavardhanam. That is the one who is desirous, who wants to have the Sthairya, Balavriddhi, will do some Sharira Cheshta, some Vyayama. That's the meaning that we get. So how did we get the meaning? We arranged the Shabda in that shloka in such a way that it conveys a meaning. So that's what is the meaning of the term Vakya Yojana. Vakya Yojana is that. The second prayojana of Tantra Yukti is Artha Yojana. Now Artha means meaning. So we have to get the meaning of the shloka, and therefore we do plan. So to explain this, I take one simple definition of the karma. I suppose all of you have learned the Padartha Vijnana in your first year itself, and you know what is karma. Karma in the language of Charaka Samhita is Samyogecha Vibhagecha Karanam Dravyamashritam Kartavyasya Kriya Karma Karma Nanyadapekshate. So what is karma? Karma is basically samyoga, combination of two or more things, or vibhaga, that is separation, and is said to be present in a dravya and is distinct from guna. Kartavyasya kriya karma. Okay, kartavya, kriya, karma are the different terms which represent the very same. Karma nanyad apekshate. So karma na anyad apekshate. What does it mean? Karma na anyad apekshate. Where should karma doesn't desire anything is the meaning. Na anyad apekshate means karma doesn't desire anything. So it doesn't desire anything. What does it mean? Where should I link it? So I have to apply my logic to get the correct meaning, to take it back to Samyoga and Vibhaga. So if I apply this to Samyoga and Vibhaga, then I say that karma can never be anything other than Samyoga and Vibhaga. So whatever karma we do, either it is Samyoga, either it is Vibhaga, or both are taking at a same point. So this meaning I can get when I arrange these words and get the meaning, and getting this meaning is Artha Yojana. And this Yojana has to happen with every shloka that we learn. So every shloka that we learn in our Samhitas are to be subjected to analysis, which will be done through the Tantra Yuktis. So these are the two prayojana of Tantra Yuktis. In that word, Leenasya Asantasya Cha Arthasya Prakashanam. I'll take one more example for this. I suppose all of you know gunas according to Charakar 41 in number. You know, in the first chapter itself, he makes a mention of 41 gunas, and he says, Sartha Gurvadayo Buddhi Prayatnanta Paradayaha. So what are the gunas? Gunas are Sartha Gurvadayo Buddhi Prayatnanta Paradaya. What he is telling, there are gunas which starts with Sartha, Sa plus Artha. Artha means it is Indriya Artha, which are 5 in number. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. So is it there in that shloka? No, it is not there. It is Leena Vishaya. It is hidden thing that is there. So we have to apply some logic and get the meaning. So Leena, that is hidden. Hidden have to be understood. So that is in the same shloka we have Sartha Gurvadi. Gurvadi is Gurvadi 20 gunas. Then there are Paradi 10 gunas. Then there are guna that starts with Buddhi and ends with Prayatna. It is told somewhere in other context in Charaka Samhitas, which is also Leena in this context. So Leena means hidden things have to be brought. Hidden things have to be explored, exposed. And that is the purpose of going in for learning Tantra Yukti. So these are the two prayojana of Tantra Yukti, that is Vakya Yojana and Artha Yojana. Next slide, please. Okay. Now, why do we need this? So why do we need all this? Why? A question may come. Why our Samhitas themselves, they should not, why could not they do elaboration and explaining everything as we find in any Gray's Anatomy or a Chaturasya or any physiology book or any API medicine? They tell everything. We don't have to scratch our head. We don't have to apply our logic to learn all these things. Isn't it? A question comes immediately. Why could our acharyas be very direct, very straight in telling the things? Now, for which we have to understand the timing and the situation that they were in. If you remember, Agnivesha's Kala is 10th century BC. Agnivesha's Kala is 10th century BC, which means 3000 years before from this time. Now, at that time, can you imagine having the privilege of pen, paper, pencil, Xerox, etc., photocopying, etc.? No, it was not easy. It was not available. So it was not available, and writing itself was a tough task, and something that was written also had to be preserved. Preserving was still difficult. So what they did is they evolved a technology to write less, which conveys more meaning. So that's what is the definition of sutra. You may be aware, sutra, we have sutrasthana directly, but otherwise sutra means a two-line quotation. A two-line quotation which includes maximum information is known as sutra. So therefore, the sutra has been defined. How it is defined? Defined as alpaksharam asandigdham saravat vishvatomukam astobham anavadyam cha sutram sutra vido viduhu. So alpaksharam. So a sutra has to be written in very less akshara. If the akshara used is less, then the amount of effort required to write and to rewrite by someone else and to preserve will also be less. So it has to be written in Alpakshara, less Akshara. Again, Alpakshara should not invite any contradictions. So it should be free from any controversies. Asandigdha. Saravat means it should contain only the essence, the gist, only the essence should be written. And Vishwato Mukham, it should include every opinion and everyone's opinion in its two-line quotation itself. Astobham means which should be 100% true. Anavadya, you should not use any other bad words. So if all these are meeting, then we call it as sutra. So all samhitas have got these kind of sutras, or all samhitas have got two-line quotations which are Alpakshara, which are Asandigdha, which contain only the gist, which are got larger applications. So a two-line quotation has to be applied when a patient comes. How can we apply the two-line quotation when a patient comes without knowing the different applications of that? So different applications of that can be known only through Tantrayuktis. So that is why the original samhitas are in shloka form, whereas original samhitas are in concise and precise form. They have to be elaborated. The elaboration technique also has been written in our own samhitas, and that elaboration technique we have to make use and bring all this hidden meaning of the shloka back into practice. So that's what is the purpose of the Tantrayukti Vijnana. Next slide, please. Okay. So why should we learn Tantrayukti? Very simple analogy. That is, simile has been given in Charaka Samhita, which says, Yathambuja vanasyarkaha pradipo veshmano yatha prabodhana prakashartha tatha tantrasya yuktayaha. So Yathambuja vanasyarkaha pradipo veshmano yatha. So you can see two pictures on this slide. There is one picture, there is a lotus, and in the other picture you have a light. So what it says, Arka. Arka means sun. How the lotus blossoms when sun rises. How the darkness evades when the light ignites. Likewise, when the Tantrayuktis are employed, all the darkness of our samhitas are evaded. So samhitas become illuminated. The blossoming of samhitas takes place when we apply Tantrayukti and start learning them. So this is the purpose, importance why we should learn the Tantrayuktis. We should apply the Tantrayuktis. Yathambuja vanasyarkaha, just like a lotus getting blossomed by sun rays, just like a room getting illuminated when a candle is lit, likewise the Tantrayuktis will light up the content of samhitas. So that's the importance of Tantrayuktis that we should remember. Next, please. There is another importance of Tantrayukti as per the Sushruta Samhitas. What he says, the indirect benefits of using them, yohi yota vidhivat teti deepi bhutastu buddhiman sa pujaro bhishyak shreshtaha iti dhanvantarayar matam. So the one who learns Tantrayukti, who gets illuminated himself by the Ayurveda Jnana by applying Tantrayuktis, and when he practices the Ayurveda, he will be the Shrestha Bhishak. He will be the most famous physician who will be worshipped in the society by everyone. He becomes pujarha. He becomes fit to be worshipped. So to become fit to be worshipped, we have to do a successful treatment. To do this treatment successfully, we have to learn the samhitas in correct form. To learn the samhitas in their true form, we have to take the help of Tantrayuktis. So this is why the Tantrayuktis are important. Next slide, please. So another importance of Tantrayuktis is highlighted as असद्वादि युक्तानाम् असद्वादि प्रयुक्तानां वाक्यानां प्रतिषेधनं स्ववाक्य सिद्धिरपि च क्रियते तंत्रयुक्तितः. So which means asadvadi prayukta, if someone is telling lie, someone is telling lie, how do we know the person is bluffing? How do we know the person is telling lie? So to know how and why he is telling lie, we have to apply our own mind and learn Tantra Yuktis and put the Tantra Yuktis in practice, so that the other person's mistakes are made known to us and we can counter them. So to identify the mistakes in other speech also, we have to make use of Tantra Yuktis. So this is the importance of Tantra Yuktis. So next slide, please. Okay. So how many are Tantra Yuktis? So how many are Tantra Yuktis? I just now said these are the keys that will open the various shlokas. And different Tantrakaras have mentioned different number of Tantra Yuktis. According to Sushruta Samhita, the Tantra Yuktis are 32 in number, whereas Charaka Samhita makes a mention of 36. The 36 is the number of Vriddha Bhagavata also in Ashtanga Sangraha. And Ashtanga Hridaya, okay, there isn't direct mentioning of Tantra Yukti in Ashtanga Hridaya. Aruna Datta in his commentary makes mention of the Tantra Yuktis, which are also 36 in number. Now, there is one person by name Bhattara Harishchandra who makes the Tantra Yukti 40 in number. Bhattara Harishchandra is the first commentator on Charaka Samhita somewhere in the 11th century. He wrote a commentary on Charaka Samhita and made mention that all these are to be learnt before we start reading the Samhitas, and therefore he added 4 more like Pariprashna, Vyakarana, Vitkanta, Vidhana, and made them 40 and brought them in the beginning of Samhitas. He in fact told them in the first chapter of Charaka Samhita itself. So that's why they become 40. So these are the number of Tantra Yuktis according to different Samhitakaras. Charaka Samhita says 36, Sushruta 32, and Bhattara Harishchandra 40. Next, please. Okay. So these are the Tantra Yuktis that we will be learning hereafter. The Tantra Yukti, okay, I don't know if there is a trend of by hearting the shloka in your place. Shlokas, as far as Ayurveda study is concerned, the shlokas are must. So, Tatradhikaranam yogo hetvartho artha padasya cha pradesh uddesha nirdesha vakya shesha prayojanam upadesh apadesh atidesh arthapatya nirnayaha prasanga ekanta anekanta sapavargo viparyayaha purvapaksha vidhananumata vyakyana samshayaha atita nagata vekshanaha svasajnya uhya samuchchayaha Nidarshanam Nirvachanam Sanniyogo Vikalpanam Pratyutsara Tathodharaha Sambhavas Tantra Yuktaya. So Sambhava is the 36th Tantra Yukti. So Charaka's 36 Tantra Yuktis will start learning, and we'll talk about the remaining 4 of the Bhattara Harishchandra also at the end of this series. So we'll start with the next slide, please. Okay. So before I start with the first of the Tantra Yuktis, let me give you the references as far as the Tantra Yukti studies is concerned. In Charaka Samhita, the last chapter of Siddhisthana, you'll find the Tantra Yuktis explained. He says Tantra Yukti Prayojana, Sankhya, all the names as well as the benefits of the individual Tantra Yukti. So he tells all the names of Tantra Yuktis along with give few examples wherein you can learn them and apply them contextually in other places. So Shruta says about the name, he tells also about the Prayojana, Sankhya, Lakshana, examples, and the Falashruti, the benefits. Vriddha Bhagavata also talks about the same. Chakrapani, okay, the Nirukti of Tantra Yukti, etc. are being provided. So these, as I said, this slide tells you what is specific contribution of each Tantrakara towards the knowledge domain of Tantra Yukti. Next, please. Okay. So as I said, we have 40 Tantra Yuktis to be learned. The first one is the Adhikarana. Adhikarana, what is Adhikarana? Adhikarana is the first Tantra Yukti. So what is Adhikarana? Adhikarana means the Pradhana Vishaya. Adhikarana means the theme. Adhikarana means the title of the subject. So how it is defined? Adhikaranam nama yamartham adhikritya pravartate karta sa vignabhuta yada rogaha. So that is what is the Adhikarana. So what is Adhikarana? Adhikaranam yamartham adhikritya pravartate karta. So by which the karta has started telling. So the Adhikarana for this lecture today is Tantra Yukti. The Adhikarana for the first chapter of Charaka Samhita is Dirgham Jivitiyam Adhyayam. Adhikarana is the Pradhana Vishaya. Adhikarana is the primary theme on which the discourse begins. So how it says, Yada Vigna Bhuta Yatha Vigna Bhuta Yada Roga. We know how the Ayurveda Avatarana started. When the people started suffering, then it was felt that Ayurveda is essential. That's why the Adhikarana became that. Atra rogadikam adhikritya ayurvedo maharshibhihi krita iti rogaha iti adhikarana. So this whole science talks about the diseases. So that disease becomes the roga. For example, Jwara Chikitsitam Adhyaya. So we give the title Jwara Chikitsa. The Jwara is a roga. And we start telling everything related to roga. So this Adhikarana is the primary theme under which the various things are being discussed. So that theme, that topic, that Pradhana Vishaya is known as Adhikarana. So the next Aruna Datta says, Yad Adhikritya, previous one. Yad Adhikritya, previous slide. Yad Adhikritya pravartate shastram sthanam adhyayam prakaranam vakyam va. So what is this? Okay, it is not just that we talk about only the theme. The themes can have different levels. The title can have different levels. Title can be the title for the Shastra itself. We have Ayurveda Shastra. The title can be, the Adhikarana can be of the level of Sthana. We have Sutra Sthana, which talks about everything related to Ayurveda in a Sutra form. We have Sharira Sthana, which talks about everything related to Sharira. We have Indriya Sthana, which talks about the Arishta Lakshanas. That is the Adhikarana of Sthana. Then I told you about the Adhyaya. So for example, in the second chapter of Charaka Samhita, Apamarga Tanduliya Adhyaya. So everything related to the Shodhana, the dravyas that are used for Shodhana are told. That is the Adhikarana of that Adhyaya. Then Prakarana comes. If the Prakarana is Dosha, so we go on talking about the doshas only. So as happens in first chapter of Ashtanga Hridaya, Vayu Pitta Kapha Cheti Trayo Doshaha Samasataha. That is the Prakarana. That is the theme. So we talk about Vayu Pitta Kapha Cheti Trayo Doshaha Samasataha. Then Tatra Ruksha Laghu Shita Khara Sukshma Chalo Anilaha. Then we talk about in the same Prakarana of Tridosha, we start talking about the Vata Guna. We start talking about the Vata, the Dosha Sthana. We start talking about their relationship with the Koshtha, with the Agni, etc. The Prakarana is the Dosha. So Prakarana is also the Adhikarana. And lastly, the Vakya, the individual Vakya will also attain the nature of Adhikarana. Remember, Adhikarana means the Pradhana Vishaya or the theme or the major topic on which the discussion starts. And for the Ayurveda, Sapumam Chetana, this Adhikarana of Ayurveda is human. You and me are the Adhikarana. Pumam Chetanaha Sacha Adhikaranam Smutam. The Adhikarana, the Pradhana Vishaya for Ayurveda is the humans. It is meant for the human. It is the study of the human life. It is the Ayurveda is told for humans only. So that is the Adhikarana. Now, these Adhikarana have got different levels as has been said. So we'll go to the next slide and learn them. So the next level you can see Tantradhikarana, Granthadhikarana, Adhyaya Adhikarana, Prakarana Adhikarana, Vakyadhikarana, etc. what it says. Tantradhikarana, adhikarana, the theme is the tantra itself. I suppose you learn so many tantras now. You would have learnt Agadha Tantra, you are learning Shalakya Tantra, you would have learnt Shalya Tantra, then Rasayana Tantra. Okay, all these are the various branches. And if this is a title, if this is a theme, then we call it as Tantradhikarana. Now, for this, I have to search a Samhita also, Grantha. For example, Charaka Samhita is Charakastu Chikitsite. So this is Chikitsa Pradhana Grantha. So if it is, I am talking, my Tantra is Kaya Chikitsa, I come to Charaka Samhita. If my Tantra is Shalakya, I go to, if it is in Shalakya also, if it is eye related, I go to Nimitantra. There is another Grantha by name Nimitantra, which tells us about everything about the eye diseases. So that's known as Granthadhikara. Now the next one is Adhyaya Adhikarana. Adhyaya Adhikarana means the theme of the particular topic. For example, Ayush Kamya Adhyaya, which talks about the various things related to the desire to live long. Ayuhu Kama. So Prakarana Adhikarana, okay, I took some example in the previous slide. Chatushpada I have quoted here. In the Chatushpada Prakarana, we learn about the various four guna of each of the four padas. So in Vakyadhikarana, okay, I took among them Bahukalpam, Bahugunam, Sampannam, Yogyam, Aushadam. That is related to only one of the padas of the Chatushpada, which is Vakyadhikarana. I have to only take that Adhikarana, that sentence as Pradhana Vishaya and learn the meaning. So this is what is the Adhikarana. Adhikarana basically means the theme, the content, or the Pradhana Vishaya, the title. So that's the first of the 40 Tantra Yuktis. The second one is Yoga. We already learned the word Yoga so many times. Yoga means Yogo Nama Yojana Vestanam Padanam Eki Karanam. In the context of the Tantra Yukti, Yoga means it's planning again. How do we plan? Vestanam Pradhanam Eki Karanam. We collect the various pada from the different contexts and arrange them to get the meaning. So we call this as Yoga. Udaharanam Tavad Yatha Pratijna Hetu Udaharana Upanaya Nigamanani. So I suppose you have learnt about the Swartha and Parartha, the two types of Anumana. So in that we have the Panchavayava Vakya, we call them as. So what are how to prove someone that this is fact? So we take these things, we make a statement, and that statement is called as Pratijna. Pratijna is the Sadhya Vachana. The statement that I want to prove is known as Pratijna. So if in this context Pratijna is Matra Jashta Ayam Garbha. So this is coming in 11th chapter of Charaka Samhita. This Garbha is said to be Matraja. If someone says this Garbha is because of the Mata only, and he gives a reason. Reason is Hetu. Mataram Antarena Garbhan Upapatte, because Garbha is seen only in the Mata. It is not there in the Pita. So therefore, there is a statement and which is provided with some reasoning also. And this reasoning is given with an example. Kutagara. Kutagara means a home. Just like how the people reside in a home. Likewise, the child reside in the Garbha of Mata. So Upanaya is the comparison between the Kuta and Garbha, and conclusion comes as, so therefore this Garbha is absolutely Matraja. Where I get all these things, I have arranged all these things in such a way that I get the meaning. So it is actually it is told in different contexts in Samhitas. So then we arrange them and get the meaning. Oh, the people who say that Matra Jashta Ayam Garbha is, they are talking about these as the reasons to establish. Of course, Charaka refutes all these things and says that Mata Pita are not the sole reasons for the Punarjanma. He establishes the Punarjanma in the 11th chapter itself. So how did we get it? Okay, we got the meaning based on a Tantra Yukti known as Yoga, where everything that are scattered in different contexts in Charaka Samhitas are brought to this context and we get the meaning. So, what ena vakyam yujyate sayogaha durasthanam api padanam ekikaranam. So, durastha padanam ekikaranam. The pada which are dura, which are a different place, we bring in this context and get the meaning, and that's what we call it as yoga. Yoga is the second Tantra Yukti, which is somewhat similar to what we already learned as Vakya Yojana and Artha Yojana. So what we did was, we did the yoga of the various pada to get the Vakya meaning. Next one, please. Now, Hetuvartha is the next one. It is made up of two words. One is Hetu and the other one is Artha. Hetu means cause, Artha is the meaning. Now, what Hetuvartha Tantra Yukti means? Hetvartho nama yad anyatra avihitam anyatra upapadyate. So, Hetvartham nama yad anyatra avihitam. Something is told in a different context and is being applied in different context. So, in Charaka Samhita, he has said something in one context and I am getting its application in different context. So, what he says, Yatha samana guna abhyaso hi dhatunam vruddhi karanam. He says, in Sutrasthana, samana guna abhyasa is going to increase. If we consume the dravya, or rather if we consume the ahara which is similar to the kapha dosha, the kapha vruddhi is going to take place. This is a simple statement. Samana guna abhyaso hi dhatunam vruddhi karanam. Now, this is a general statement made in some context. So, does it, by Hetvartha Tantra Yukti, I can take it to different context and say that if I consume the ahara which is similar to rasa dhatu in the body, the rasa is getting increased. If I make a statement that if I consume the ahara which is similar to rakta dosha, rakta dhatu is getting increased. Why? Because samana guna abhyasa is taking place. So, the guna of the dravya that is within the sharira, that is rakta, is similar to the ahara, is similar to the guna of the ahara that I am taking about. If that happens, then the increase is happening. So, something that is told in different context, if it is to be applied in different context also, we call it as Hetvartha Tantra Yukti. Hetvartha Tantra Yukti allows you to extrapolate, to take you the meaning of something told in one context to another context. So, that's what is the Hetvartha Tantra Yukti, the third of the 40 Tantra Yuktis. So, the next Tantra Yukti is the Padartha. I suppose this is quite easy Tantra Yukti that is known to you. You learn so many Padarthas. So, what is Padartha? Padartha means, okay, I suppose there was a subject by name Padartha Vijnana for you also in your first year BMS. You would have learnt about the various Padartha. Padartha of Vaisheshikas, Shat Padartha, Padartha of Nyayas, Shodasha Padartha, Sankhya, 25 Padartha. Okay, those are all Padartha. But what is basically the meaning of Padartha? Pada means one group of letters, and if it conveys some meaning, we call it as Padartha. So that is what is the meaning of the term Padartha. Any group of letters, if it conveys meaning, is called as Padartha. So, for example, Rama is a group of words which convey the name of a person. If we say Jnana, okay, group of letters which says you some meaning. If I say Dosha, okay, it's a group of letters which conveys you some meaning. It is applicable to all languages. APPLE is a group of letters which says that there is an apple. Apple is a fruit. So if this knowledge is coming, then we call it as Padartha. So Padartha means any group of letters which conveys you some meaning, and that categorization, etc., happens in various darshanas. That is different. So basic meaning of the term Padartha is Padasya Arthaha. Padartho nama Padasya Padayoho Padanam va Arthaha Padarthaha. So the group meaning that is conveyed by one word, two words, or group of words is known as Padartha. So each pada has got some Shakti in it. Shakti is there in each of the pada, and that has got the capacity to express itself, and we call it as Padartha. So going into the Chakrapani says, Tatra Dravya Pratipadena. If I say Dravya in the Ayurveda, when we are telling about Charaka, so you know there are 9 Karana Dravyas that come immediately. Khadayas, Chetana, Shashta, Uchante. So there are Khadayas, Chetana. So there are Khadaya means Kha Adi Pancha Mahabhuta. Sixth one is the Chetana. So we're talking about Shadadhatmatmaka Sharira. Sharira is made up of 6 components. So those are the meaning of the term Padartha. Padartha is a very simple Tantra Yukti. So which means that we should know the Artha of every pada that we come across with. So it may be Sanskrit, it may be Nepalese, or it may be Hindi, or it may be Kannada, or it may be in any language. We should know the meaning of the word. The word has got a power. The word power is the meaning of the term Padartha. Padartha is the 4th Tantra Yukti. The next one, please. Pradesha. The 5th one is Pradesha. Now, I suppose this is again a self-explanatory word. Pradesha means place. In India, you may be aware we have some states by name Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh. Pradesha means place. Now, what is the relevance of Pradesha as far as Tantra is concerned? What the Acharya says is, Pradesho nama yad bahutvad arthasya karsnena abhidhatum ashakyam ekadeshena abhidiyate. No, what he says is, there are some things which the author cannot tell in every context. So the author decides to tell it in one context. Pradesho nama yat bahutvad arthasya. It has got application in different places. So in different places, he cannot go on telling it each context that this is this. So therefore, he makes a prakarana for that and tells it. How is it? Anumanaihi ekadesho ayam uktam prayopa yogikaha. No, where is Anupana told in our Samhitas? Anupana is told in Sutrasthana. But what is the utility of Anupana? Anupana has got its utility when it comes to food. After eating certain food, you have to take such and such Anupana. Then the larger application of Anupana happens when patient comes in. It should happen in Chikitsa Sthana. So what the Acharya should do? So in Charaka Samhita, after using this medicine, you have to take this Anupana. He should tell it there. In Prameha Chikitsa, after using this medicine, you should use this Anupana. He should tell it there. Now, since everything has to be written in a concise form, so authors did not do that, but rather created a prakarana for Anupana itself and brought it in Sutrasthana, and that is what is the Pradesha. So by this, it means that if I am talking about Anupana, I have to learn Anupana in this Adhyaya and apply it as the context demands in the case of Swastha as well as Atura. So for example, in case of Mamsa, Madhya is Anupana. In case of Godhuma, the Shita Jala is Anupana. Whenever Godhuma is consumed, we have to make use of Shita Jala. So such Anupanas are mentioned in a particular place which are to be applied as the context demands in other sthana or prakarana of Samhitas. So that is the Pradesha Tantra Yukti. So Anupana example has been mentioned. So in the words of Sushruta also, he also says the same. Prakritasya atikrantena sadhanam pradesha. Pradesha means a context in which certain things are told, so which can be applied in other contexts also. So yatha devadattasya anena shalyam udhritam tatha yajnadastasya api ayam udhrit. Okay, so it means if Devadatta can be cured of this disease, if Devadatta is the name of a person, if this Shalya, by this practice, like if I can remove the Shalya of Devadatta, it also means that I can remove the Shalya of any other person also. Any other person is Yajnadatta. Devadatta, Yajnadatta, just two, for the name's sake, two names have been mentioned. So if the particular therapy is useful for me, it means that it is useful for others also. So this is known as Pradesha Tantra Yukti. Pradesha means place. So in certain place, certain things are explained because of the constraint related to writing, which can be applied to the different context as per the context demands. The context Anupana is quite applicable, is told in one context, whereas in every Chikitsa we go for Anupanas. So that is the fifth of the 40 Tantra Yuktis that we call as Pradesha Tantra Yuktis. Next one, please. Uddesha. Uddesha means, okay, Uddesha means something which is told in brief is known as Uddesha. So the Uddesha is Sankshepavidhana. Uddesha means only the purpose is told, only the gist is told, only the beginning part is told. So anything which is told in concise form, anything which is told in very little word is known as Uddesha. Uddesho nama Sankshepavidhanam Samasa Vachanam Uddesha. Samasa Vachana means something which is told in the brief is known as Uddesha. So likewise, so yatha hetu lingaushada jnanam swasthatura parayanam. Okay, what we learn in this is told in Sutrasthana first chapter. We learn about hetu linga aushada jnana. They tell it, but where you find the hetu? Hetu you will find hetu of prameha in the Prameha Nidana Adhyaya. The hetu of prameha again in the Prameha Chikitsa Adhyaya. So that is, there you find the detailed explanation, whereas in brief it is featured in Sutrasthana. So anywhere if it is explained in brief, we call it as Uddesha. So for example, Shadvirechana Shatashri Adhyaya is the fourth Adhyaya, where 600 preparations are told. It is told in brief. In detail, the very same 600 preparations are told in Kalpasthana of Sharka Samhita. Then the Shodhana mentioned as Chikitsa. Okay, Shodhana is told in the beginning of the Samhitas in Sutrasthana, but everything related to Shodhana and Panchakarma is told in Siddhisthana. So even we can talk about the Samanya Samprapti and Vishesha Samprapti as Uddesha and the elaboration. So Uddesha means something which is told in brief, something which is in concise form, which can be elaborated, which is told in detail later, and in detail later is told in the form of next Tantra Yukti, that is Nirdesha. Nirdesha, next slide please. So okay, Nirdesho nama Sankhya Yoktasya Vivaranam. So something that has been told in brief need to be elaborated. Vivarana means giving details. Elaboration is the meaning of the term Nirdesha. So when we say Hetu Linga Aushadha Jnana in the Uddesha, it has to be elaborated context-wise. The Hetu for Swastha, the Linga of Swastha, the Aushadha for Swastha. The Aushadha for Swastha happens to be the Dinacharya, Charya, the context of Vegadharana, etc. So which are detailed in the second, third and fourth chapter of Ashtanga Hridaya. So that is Vistara Vachana, Vivarana took place, Nirdesha. And related to this Hetulinga Aushadha, in the context demanded Jvara, okay, we learn in detail about Jvara in Jvara Chikitsa, etc. So Nirdesha means Vistara Vachanam. Nirdesha means telling everything in detail. So that is known as Vistara Vachana, that is known as Nirdesha. So this is the 7th Tantra Yukti. So we close our study of Tantra Yuktis at this point of time. So what we have done in this class is started with the meaning of the term Tantra Yukti. We learn the two words in the Tantra Yukti as Tantra and Yukti separately. We club together to get the real meaning of the word Tantra Yukti. Then we arrived at the meaning that Tantra Yuktis are keys which are used to unlock the hidden meaning of the Samhitas. Tantra Yuktis are useful, and we learnt why the Tantra Yuktis are important, because the Samhitas are written in such a way that they are very concise, but they have got a larger application. The larger application is when we apply the Tantra Yuktis. So we learnt the different number of Tantra Yuktis from different Tantrakaras. We gave you a list of the 36 Tantra Yuktis and started with the Prayojana of Tantra Yuktis, emphasized why we should learn the Tantra Yuktis. Then in the course of study of 40 Tantra Yuktis, we started detailing about the Tantra Yuktis. Among them, 7 Tantra Yuktis are already learned. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer the queries. Otherwise, we'll continue with the next class, with the next Tantra Yuktis. We'll finish the 40 Tantra Yuktis, then I'll talk you about the different applications of Tantra Yuktis at the end of this presentation. So hope it was useful for you. I'm here to answer your queries. Thank you.
Anybody has this?
Any questions are there? There are 2 messages. Let me see. Prakarana. What is Prakarana? Okay. So Prakarana is the context. Prakarana is, okay. The Samhitas, when we talk about learning the Samhitas have to be learnt in different stages. There is one shloka. The shloka talks about particular meaning, and different set of shlokas make one prakarana, one context. Say, for example, if we talk about rasa, I give you rasa definition. Then I give you next quotation. I say the relationship between the rasa and dosha. That's tatradhya markam nanti trayastiktadeha kafam. Then I talk about the madhura rasa and its karma, the amla rasa and its karma. So what I am doing is I am building a various information related to one topic, and that one topic is our prakarana. That is the prakarana. So this is known as rasadhikara. In the prakarana of rasa, these are the things. In the prakarana of dosha, these are the things. In the prakarana of shodhana, these are the things. In the prakarana of the jalavarga, these are the things. So that is the meaning of prakarana, and prakarana is important as far as learning the adhikarana, where it is placed. Now, unless until we know where particular thing is told, we will not be making its correct application as the context demands. So prakarana is a set of information related to a particular topic. Any other questions?
Any other queries, please?
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, then thank you very much, sir, for your time. We are very pleased.
Okay, okay, I hope it was useful. I don't know, because I'm interacting with you people for the first time.
Yes, I think
hope it was useful.
Sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your time. and we are very pleased for your lecture.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir.
Fine. Shall we quit?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.